So yesterday I had the incredible chance to watch the Wimpy Kid, The Last Straw on Disney Plus and all that because it came out yesterday. So, I want to give my thoughts. I want to talk about like its movie plot, spoilers if you haven't watched it, and just my thoughts in general about the movie. So it's based on the book, obviously. So Greg's been messing up one too many times at Christmas and all that stuff, and is not bonding too well with his dad, which is really, really sad. And he messes up like on Christmas Day, like at the church and all that stuff. Things don't go nearly as well. He also has a snow removal business, but that doesn't go well with Rowley at all. So whoops. Also, by the way, there's this other family in the movie as well that shows up and all that, and I think it's just really funny to see and all that. Like the family initially, like Mr. Heffley, like Frank Heffley, is like not happy with the dad, but eventually like the son doesn't care anymore about the dad. So, Frank feels a little bit bad afterwards. So that's like later in the movie, by the way. But anyways, getting back to like Frank and Greg. So pretty much there's this dude like Spank Union who like recommends like, hey, Greg should go to Spank Union because he's messing up a lot one too many times, blah blah. Greg decides that he'll join the wilderness survival thingy and all that to make up, like because Rowley's doing it too, so why might as well, right? So that goes as well as you expect. And then Greg decides to run for treasury because Patty's running, but then Greg gets in trouble, and so because he makes like a stupid thingy for Patty and all that, and Patty ends up expelling him or getting him detention. And then there's this random dude who tells him like, hey, there's this honor student thing, give it to Frank and lie and all that. I don't know, it's so weird. Anyways, so Greg and Frank actually bond a bit and all that stuff, which is really, really sweet. I'm so happy to hear that. Anyways, Greg and Rowley like work for a bit for the student patrol, the safety patrol, but the kids ended up getting messed up, and then he ended up getting in trouble. But the lady ends up calling Greg a different name, so Greg goes along with it, and then Greg ends up joining for soccer because, the other parent has his kid who's in the soccer, so he joins soccer, but Greg actually doesn't do much until the last game, and I don't think he wins. Yeah, he doesn't win because Patty ends up, playing, and he ends up, losing. Greg ends up losing. And that's like, so like Frank and Greg are both bond for a bit for a while and all that. It's so sweet. I love it so much. But then, sadly though, things don't go well when the truth is revealed to everything to Frank, and he's so freaking upset to the point where he adds him into Spank Union, and it's really upsetting for Greg. And then Greg and Frank have the commitment to have to go to the wilderness thing, and they don't talk initially, but then they realize, you know what, let's just deal this together and all that stuff. And then eventually they start bonding again during camp, which is really sweet. Anyway, so they get lost in the woods, and then eventually Greg is smart enough to make a compass thingy, and so they all, like, all the people in the camp eventually find the bridge. That breaks, so then they get a rope. And remember that parent who, like, Frank doesn't like, and his son is no longer, like, a fan of anymore, and blah, blah. Well, he's the last one, that parent dude. I forgot his name. I'm sorry, guys. I don't know why I'm blanking with the names right now. But he ends up going, so there's, like, this river thing in between, like, the campsite and the place that got lost, and there's, like, bridge that broke, like I said, and he tries to go on the rope, this parent, but unfortunately, he ends up slipping and is stuck in the water, and he almost dies in the waterfall. I feel bad for him, but thankfully, everyone in the camp saves him and all that, and it's so sweet. Like, the parent and the son get back together and all that, and it's so sweet. Anyways, yeah, so this camp weekend thingy, the day one is coming to a close. This is where, like, Frank decides, like, Greg, I'm not going to send you to Spank Union because they're both bonding so much, and it's so sweet. Also, at the end of the movie, they end up going to a hotel and all that, and that's where it ends, and it's so sweet. And do I think this is a good movie? I mean, it's decent. It's not as great as the other Wimpy Kid movie, like the one last time was Cabin Fever. And while that wasn't like a perfect Wimpy Kid movie, I thought that was like the best animated movie that Wimpy Kid has done. This one, I am a little confused why this movie was made into a Christmas movie, because it doesn't seem like it should be a Christmas movie, but for some reason, it is, and it just doesn't make sense, but unfortunately it is, which is really sad. And also, this movie, it's decent. There's some things here and there where I kind of wish it was a bit longer. It's only like 1 hour and like 13 minutes. It's a pretty short film. I finished it really quickly because it's, very short and all that. But I think otherwise, it's a really decent movie. I understand that people don't like these kind of movies because they're not as great as like the live action stuff. Although the live action stuff aren't perfect either, But it is a shame that a lot of people think animated Diary Kid movies aren't great and all that, which is really sad. Because I think it's decent. Like, the Cabin Fever one was pretty good. This one was also pretty decent as well, even though it wasn't perfect. I think it was decent and all that. And the next movie that he's actually going to do next year is The Getaway, which sounds amazing. And so I'm actually happy that he finally got to do a movie on The Last Straw, because this was anticipated, but they ended up doing Cabin Fever before The Last Straw, and they actually took a year break before this movie released. So, I don't know. It's really interesting. Anyways, yeah, it's a decent movie. If you want to go watch it, go watch it. If you don't want to watch it, you don't have to. It's a movie you could easily skip if you really don't like Diary of a Kid or these movies. So, whatever. Anyways, I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.